Hello everybody and welcome to the DogDare podcast, or welcome back to the DogDare podcast. I hope everybody is doing great. I am just jumping in. I've been sitting here trying to pull everything together and trying to make sure I have everything in order, and if I keep doing that, I am going to run out of time. So bear with me. I hope everybody's doing great. Hope everybody's having a wonderful week. It is Thursday, and I am very much ready to get this work week over with. Sorry. Again, my name is David from the DogDare Podcast. My Instagram handle I'll put here. It's David DogDare on Instagram, and I am DogDare on Ravelry. I'll put all the information here for you. So, I hope everybody's doing great. I'm having, last week and this week are one of those weeks that I wake up in the morning thinking it's one day ahead. Last week I woke up thinking it was Friday and had to actually look at my phone as I was waking up to realize, nope, you're still on Thursday. So today is Thursday. Luckily, tomorrow is Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. Hope everybody's doing good. Let's proceed. So, let's first talk about the CALs and MALs that are currently running that I'm connected with. So the lovely Jennifer and John Michael of the Color and Life podcast, I'm doing a double DogDare CAL with them that's ending June 20th or 21st. It's summer solstice. And they're going like gangbusters on their double dog dares. My dog dare, I'm trudging along. My goal was to knit 2 complete pairs of socks. During that time, I've been taking some classes. I haven't had a knitting class since before I went to California for work about a month ago. So due to scheduling and such, I have yet to go back to continue finishing off the heel. However, the first sock that I started, I wanted to not really show until the CAL is over with, so I can say, hey, here's what I did. Like all you wonderful knitters out there can, show up your little sock blocker and proudly show off what you have. My goal is to do that as well. However, the other day I decided to cast on my second pair of socks on my own, despite not having classes for a while. I mean, of course my only challenge I think is going to be the heel section, but since I've had a few classes with a wonderful teacher here in Charlotte, I've been definitely watching videos, and definitely Nathan from the Sockmatician. Hello, Nathan. Your information and instructions are biblical proportions. Wonderful. So I went ahead and started my second pair, and of course I'm a glutton because I'm starting on these signature needles size, let me look here, size 2.25 millimeters, so size 1, and I'm using sock yarn. So of course, let's make it as difficult as possible, but I'm actually enjoying the DPNs. I actually like them. It's a little bit like knitting with Rubik's Cubes in your hand, but I'm getting the hang of it. My biggest challenge with knitting socks, what I'm realizing, I'm a stressful knitter, and I tend to knit very tight. And if it's something I'm not familiar with doing, I have this bit of paranoia of screwing something up. And especially with socks, you get all the way up to the point you're doing the heel and you mess it up. Granted, you can tear it back and start over again, but I tend to be a bit stressed when it comes to socks. So as of now, I'm not crazy about not sock knitting. However, I'm sticking with it. I know that in time it's going to come more natural to me, and I will love it, hopefully. However, that's my progress, and I am definitely going to complete the task by the end of our CAL with Color and Life podcast. The other game that I announced on my last podcast was the DogDare Bates Motel MAL. So very happy to see some people jumping in on that. I'm loving the hashtag DogDare Bates Motel MAL photos that folks are posting up on Instagram. That's one way to enter. The other option is to go over to my Ravelry page, DogDare on Ravelry, and post your photos there. I'm going to add a thread today when I upload this where you can post those. And the other options is to, for hashtag DogDare Bates Motel MAL on Instagram, you're to just plop a photo in there, tag it, hashtag DogDare Bates Motel MAL, tag me at David DogDare so I can see it. And it can be something, a photo that's inspired by the television show Bates Motel. So it can be, you know, a taxidermy animal. It can be something that reminds you of Norma or Norman or Romero or Emma or Dylan, whomever. Just post it up there, have fun with it. The other options on Ravelry is to knit something that is unisex, that both Norma or Norman can wear. And then the other option is to just create something that the show has inspired you to create. And that could be anything. It could be a painting. It can be a felted object. It can be knitted, crocheted, whatever inspires you creatively and craftiness skills, put to work and post those up there. So again, I don't want it to be stressful. There's not really much limitations around it. If you're working on something else that connects to another Cal or Mal out there and that would fit in with this, come in and join. I'm not going to stress out. I don't want people stressing out about it. There's enough instructions and enough directions in life that we have to follow. Let's just have fun with it. The goal of it really for me is to just unite us in loving the show and appreciating it and just having fun with it. Again, like I mentioned in my last podcast, if you have not watched the show, if you're too scared to watch it or if those kind of shows freak you out, it's really not that gory, especially compared to a lot of shows out there on, you know, primetime television. But if it's too much for you, I don't want people to stress about that. So you can definitely go online and Google it or go to Pinterest and search Bates Motel and you can find plenty of photos and pictures of the actors and Norma and actresses and get inspired by that and still play the game. So you don't have to watch Bates Motel show if it's going to freak you out too much. But it's such a good show. The series finale aired a few weeks back and oh, it was so good. I just loved it. The ending was just, in my mind, perfect how they wrapped up that series. And, you know, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, you know, I started watching that from the very beginning, the very first episode, and stuck with it. And when you stick with something over several years and you're committed to that show and you love the characters and you love the writing and the directing and then everything, and then when it comes to a series finale and it's gone, you know, there's a little sense of loss there of like, you know, I'm not looking forward, you know, that's not something I can look forward to next week to watch the new episode and get excited about. So, I am definitely man enough to admit I did some ugly crying during and after that series finale. It was just really beautifully done. Beautifully done. So, anyhow, check it out. Play the game. There's going to be some great prizes. Let me show you some of the prizes for the hashtag DogDare Bates Motel MAL. A wonderful lady, Sherry, from the Daisy Girl and Company site on Etsy, reached out to me and said she wanted to donate some prizes. So there's actually one prize I got from her, which reminds me of Norma Bates. This reminds me of something Norma's character would wear in the show as an apron or a blouse or whatever. But this is a project bag. Really well made, beautiful colors. And then she also followed it up with a custom order of a project bag that reminded her of the vintage kitchen that you can see in the Bates Motel home. This is one of those project bags. She has a little window so you can actually see the project that is inside of it. Is that not awesome? Again, her name Etsy is Daisy Girl. Put all the information here and down on the show notes. But this is two of the prizes. The other fun prizes, excuse me one second, is Jessie from Die Monkey Yarns, who has a wonderful podcast. Here's my notes. Because if I didn't have my notes, I'd forget everything. She has a podcast, Knit Up and Die Podcast, Jessie. She wanted to donate some yarn, and this is also going to be a little game within the comments down below. So here's the yarn that she created for the giveaway. Look at that. Reminds me of the home. It reminds me of the house. The colorings, the brown, and the little red in there for the blood that sometimes is shed throughout the series. She gave me 2 skeins. One skein is for the prize at the end of the game, which it goes until June 6th. June 6th is when the DogDare Bates Motel MAL ends. The other skein I'm going to give away today, or I'm going to give away in this podcast. All you have to do is in the comments below, you know, leave your wonderful comments if you want. I always try to do my best to answer everybody's comments. I figure if you're going to take the time to watch my show and you know, leave a comment, which is very sweet of you, I definitely want to take the time to respond. And I really do appreciate all the comments on YouTube as well as on Instagram. So thank you very much, because I know everybody's time is limited. Everybody's time is busy. We're in a crazy world. So for you to take the time to sit there and watch me blabber on, I appreciate it. You can win this one. All you have to do is in the comments below, give it a name. Give it a Norma Bates or Psycho themed name that you would call this colorway. Leave it in the comments below. And what I'll do is the next time I podcast, which should be in about a week, maybe 2 weeks, I will grab all the names that you left in the comments, and I will do a random I'll take a peek and see which one I like better. There may be some duplicates. If there are a bunch of duplicates, I'll do a random number generator, and I'll announce the winner on my next podcast. So again, leave the comment below in the sections. You can also leave other comments below. Don't worry about it messing it up, and I'll just manually go in when I record next podcast and pull out the ones that are leaving the name in there. So don't worry about how to do it. Just down below in comments, either within your own comment or a separate comment, name the colorway for this beautiful Die Monkey Yarns. There you go. So that's one fun thing. The other skein again will be at the end of the MAL for the giveaway. Then, excuse me, there's another giveaway. The lovely Michelle, and all of you know Michelle from the Knotty Wits podcast. She reached out to me. Her and Leslie host the Knotty Wits podcast. I love that podcast. I'm sure you all know that podcast, and if you don't, put me on pause, go check them out, because they are fantastic. So she sent a beautiful card, some beautiful gifts, and here are... She sent a skein of this Fiddle Knits Fibers Diatonic. Now, I don't even have to tell you why that's connected to Bates Motel. Look at that. Is that not awesome? So that's going to be one of the giveaways at the end of the MAL. She also threw in, which I have never seen this before, glow-in-the-dark yarn. Gert's Glow House. Glow-in-the-dark yarn. Fantastic. Those will be parts of the prizes at the end of the MAL. She also sent something that's connected to another prize I'm going to show. She sent a little container of key-themed stitch markers. Is that not awesome? Those are the keys of Bates Motel. And that, she said, which is a great idea, will be included in this prize from the lovely Carrie, from the, oh, Carrie, I always get your old, there it is, the Creative Obsession podcast, Carrie. Creative Obsession also has a shop on Etsy. I've mentioned her before, love her. But she, Michelle thought that these keys would go perfectly with this prize that Carrie created and donated for the Bates Motel MAL. Is that not awesome? So that'll be a nice little duo prize that's will be from the giveaway. Also, I mentioned before that I'm going to do some gift certificates Williams-Sonoma, and so you can buy some pie plates if that's what you want, because Norma Bates did love to cook, so that'll be one of the prizes from there. Anthropologie has some really beautiful aprons, a gift certificate from them. If you want an apron like Norma would wear, or anything else you want from there, it's a gift card, so you choose what you want. The other prizes will be scattered in there is from an artist, Millie Pins, is from Etsy. Millie Pins, and she creates these awesome Bates Motel / Psycho pins. And this one is the Bates Motel key. And this one, which I can abide by, we all go a little mad sometimes. Beautiful, really heavy, nicely made pins. She also recently created this pin, which of course I had to buy one for myself and one for the giveaway. It's Norman Bates's suitcase. So when you open his suitcase, you see some Norman-inspired items in there. A wig, a knife, clothes that Norma would wear. Is that not incredibly creative? That'll also be in the little packet of prizes to give away. Also, what I'm doing for the Bates Motel MAL is, this is a loom that I've recently purchased from Philip Willette. I'll put this info below. This is a handmade loom, which I think is beautiful. Has the driftwood here. But what I like about this loom is you can add anything in here. Twigs, leaves, whatever. I have a Sayori loom that's a little more traditional weaving. But I wanted something that I could add pieces to it and make it a little more abstract, a little more multimedia, so to speak. But I wanted to, this woven piece will end in white and begin with white. And then in the center will be a mixture of, you know, colors that remind me of Norma Bates's clothing, colors from the house, maybe some sticks in there, just stuff like that. It's crazy stuff that remind me of the series. So I will definitely have that finished by the end of the MAL and show it off. But the last thing about the Bates Motel, because I could talk on and on about it, as you can very well see. At the beginning of the video of this podcast, you saw sheep. That's Norma. I got Norma recently. Oddly enough, about 6 months ago, my room of requirements here, I'm in the process of cleaning up and reorganizing and decluttering a little bit so it looks nicer. About 6 months ago, I thought, you know what I think I need? I think I need a life-size sheep. Of course. So I went online and looked, and there's a few on Amazon and eBay that look interesting. So I kind of narrowed it down to this one, but I wasn't 100% sold on it. So on an episode of Bates Motel, oddly enough, a couple days before I watched an episode where he's in the hardware store in the last season, I came across this life-size sheep online, and I'm like, oh, that actually looks pretty nice. That looks a little more realistic than the ones I've seen, than the other one I was thinking of getting. And sure enough, I'm watching Bates Motel when it was on, and I see a glimpse of this sheep in the background when Norman walks into the hardware store. And I'm like, hey, that's that same sheep. So of course I had to get it. That kind of is what pushed me, the decision making. Got it. It came in a humongous box. Took it out of the box, and it's perfect. I love it. She is a huge inspiration for me. She's actually right here staring at me. So it was fun to get. So I love it. It's a perfect addition for my room of requirements. And definitely in the next podcast or the podcast after that, I'll give you a little video tour of the room, because by then it will be complete and it'll be in viewing mode, so to speak. So there you go. So thanks for listening. Ramble on about Bates Motel. I appreciate it. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, some other goodies I've gotten recently that I wanted to show off. Mentioned her before, Jessie from the Diet Monkey Yarns. This is one of the skeins I purchased from her site, and I just wanted to show it off at how beautiful. This is called Botany. Look at those colors. Does that not cheer you up? Beautiful. And it feels really nice. Love it. Another one I got is from, of course, I mentioned her as well, excuse me, Carrie from the Creative Obsession. You know, as we all can relate to, the downside with Instagram, you go on Instagram and you see someone post something and you're like, I have to have that right now. Look at these two colors. Are these not beautiful? This is Celebration, and I definitely celebrated when I opened it. Loved it, or love it. This is Autumn Blaze. Now I've had Carrie's other skeins. I have quite a few of her items and a bag, project bag of hers, which I just love, and I am just in love with these, as I am Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, for making such beautiful colorways. Another one I got recently is from Jake. You've heard me ramble on about Jake from Dogstar Knits. He posted on Instagram recently on May 4th, for May the 4th be with you. What normally is Dogstar Knits, he crossed out Dogstar and put Death Star Knits. This is a Star Wars inspired colorway. Imperial March is the name of it. Little sparkle is in there. But look at that. That definitely has the force. Jake, I love it. If you've not checked out Jake's shop, Dogstar Knits, on Etsy, definitely check it out. And I hear that he is also in the works of doing a podcast as well. So something for all of us to look forward to. Then, almost last, the Limitless Crafter, Kina. Hello, Kina. She was very sweet and recently sent me just a little happy package of a project bag she created. Gotta love the skull. And a beautiful DogDare inspired hand spun skein of yarn. Is that not beautiful? Kina, you definitely made my week. Thank you very much. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then, so those are some of my acquisitions. Thought you might enjoy seeing. I think that might be it, but I did want to mention, so I did want to ramble a little bit more. Oh, Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck. So I am actually going to Rhinebeck this year. The only experience I've had with a fiber festival was the recent SAF one here in Asheville, North Carolina, and loved it. It was a little overwhelming, but I thought, you know what, I am going to go to Rhinebeck this year, which I hear is even more overwhelming. One of my biggest draws about Rhinebeck is to meet some of you wonderful folks there that I've been admiring and following along, and hopefully I can see you from a distance and at least wave, and you can give me a look of like, who is that creepy guy? So, but I'm looking forward to going. I think it'll be a lot of fun. You know, again, I don't do really great in huge crowds. I can handle it, but after a while, it's a little overwhelming for me. I never used to be like that. I think when I was hit by a truck years ago and had injuries and was on disability for a little while, something shifted in me for some odd reason. And after that, I noticed I was having some trouble being in large, loud, crazy crowds. But I'm getting better with it. So, Rhinebeck is going to be a large, crazy, wild crowd, but I am definitely looking forward to it. And I definitely want to, there'll be some prizes around that, and I know a lot of people aren't able to go, either because it's too far away or financially. I understand that very much. But in connection with that, I definitely want to do some giveaways afterwards and pick up some wonderful gifts there that I can give away to you wonderful folks who aren't able to go. So stay tuned for that. So there was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, yes. So I do get comments from time to time of people asking me that I don't show my knitted items very often, or I don't at all. I have a few times throughout the way, and I definitely mentioned when I first started this podcast, I am not a professional knitter. I'm not even sure if I'm a very good knitter. I mean, my socks experience can, you know, vouch for that. So sometimes I suffer from, I'm not sure if other people deal with this. I'm sure other people do, but I deal with a little bit of what's the word? Self-doubt about my pieces, my knitting. So, because I watch all you webcasters or podcasters out there and I see the beautiful stuff you make. And I don't know how you can make so much beautiful content in such a short amount of time. It just boggles my mind. You like have superpowers. And I guess I'm a slow knitter, and I'm definitely a tense knitter depending on what I'm knitting. But you know, it's like, hey, I knitted this tablecloth last week and I knitted this car cover. And hey, I think that's fantastic, and I am definitely envious of that very much. But if you're coming to watch me show off a bunch of knitted items, I've warned you before, I'm going to warn you again, you're not really going to get much of that with me because I'm a slow knitter. I love fiber and knitting and creating and crafting and stuff like that. And I love watching all you other folks out there who have that ability to knit quickly and show off your wonderful, beautiful items, because I do get inspired by it. But I just want to, you know, give a friendly reminder, you are probably never going to see me lift up a bunch of whips in an episode and say, I'm working on this, and this. So, but I will tell you, because it'll help inspire me, I have chosen my sweater for Rhinebeck. Now, I've never knitted a sweater before, but I'm ready to take the challenge. And I have to tell you, if I'm tackling socks, which stress me out a little bit, I'm ready for a sweater because it's going to be thicker yarn. To me, it's going to be a little, it might be less stressful for me. So I've chosen Stephen West, as you all know. He designs one called the, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, Drangy pullover or Drangy pullover, but that's the pullover. And it's a pattern on Etsy. I don't want to show it to you because I don't want to show the pattern because I don't want to be disrespectful of him. But it's a beautiful sweater, and to me it looks a little sci-fi, a little modern, and a little traditional, all wrapped up into one. So I'm very much looking forward to starting that. And I will show you the progress of this as I go along, because I'm going to need some encouragement. Because Rhinebeck's in October, so we're still in May, and I want to have plenty of time to get going on it. Another project I'm going to start at the same time is Blue Whale, another pattern by Stephen West. It is a shawl, if you can see that. A shawl that looks really nice, so I have to choose the colors for that. The Rhinebeck sweater, I need to choose the colors as well. So I think I want something dark gray, and the highlight, I'm debating on what to get for the highlight. I'm also thinking of the highlight might be a combination of the various colorways I've gotten from some of you wonderful dyers out there, like Jake from Dogstar, and Carrie, and Jesse from Dye Monkey Yarns, and Kina. I'm thinking of gathering those skeins that I have up and maybe somehow knitting those into the sweater so I can sort of take you with me when I go to Rhinebeck. Another pattern which I have seen shown on another podcast. My brain is a little fried today. The Bread and Butter Men's Hat. I definitely want to have this knitted up for Rhinebeck, so I have a hat as well. I love hats, as you can tell. It hides my huge, large, swollen head of mine. So those are some patterns that I'm tackling. I'll definitely show the progress as I go along, even though it may be, you know, look like that. But at least I'll show you I'm working on it. So those are some fun things that I'm going to tackle and looking forward to it. So I definitely feel I have rambled much quicker, and I've only had 1 cup of coffee today, but I definitely wanted to do this when I had a chance. I just hope everybody is having a wonderful week. And I just want to say I really appreciate you guys subscribing and watching. I know in the beginning I said I never want to push people to subscribe or like or anything like that, because I'm not selling anything. I'm not promoting myself, or I'm not selling a product. So I understand people who do. I think that's great. So for me, you know, I really appreciate you subscribing and coming back and listening to me ramble. Your wonderful comments here and on Instagram and messages on Ravelry and so forth. I really do appreciate it, and I do my best to answer them all. So thank you very much for all of that. Don't forget to down below, sorry, excuse my bald head, don't forget down below in the comments to leave your suggestion for this colorway from Dye Monkey Yarns. And next time I podcast, I'll go through the comments, find the names, or the colorway names that you came up with that are Bates Motel inspired, and I will choose the winner and announce it on my next podcast. So, I have a feeling I'm forgetting something else, but I think I have tortured you enough with my rambling. So, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful upcoming weekend. I hope everybody's doing good. If you're having a bad day at all this week, or it's been a rough time, I know I've seen a few on Instagram, a few folks out there who are having some pet issues. Some pets are not feeling so great. I send all my love and support and happy, healthy vibes to all your pets. And of course to everybody else out there. Sending you some hugs from afar. And just have a wonderful day. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you later.